This right here is the Cold Creek Tubs Premium Cold Tub. It's made here in the United States of America in California. It's actually got a pretty cool story. Let's talk about it. If you ever ask yourself why you've never seen me post a review on a very expensive, pretty basic cold plunge, and I don't want to say any names, it's because there's a lot of options out there that are better and cheaper. This is a brand new cold plunge company to the scene, making their cold plunges right here in the States, and they have an incredible story. It's called Cold Creek Tubs. And in today's video, we're gonna set up and review their Cold Creek Premium Tub to see if it's a cold plunge you should consider for yourself or not. Let's jump right in. Okay. Yeah, dude, I'm actually excited about this. I just want you guys to be famous. First. Oh, God. You gotta tell me when you're letting go. So I just got this thing, and me and a couple friends carried it back here. The entire thing weighs 170 pounds dry. This is one of the few cold plunges that everything is actually gonna be completely enclosed, which is awesome. So you're not gonna have your chiller and all of your hoses sticking out on the side kind of as an eyesore. Everything is fully enclosed in here. The outside of this is made out of a durable and soft plastic that is actually fully insulated from the bottom all the way to the lid. The top here is a marine grade EVA foam, which is actually extremely durable, and there's zero maintenance you have to do on this, unlike some of the other cold plunges that are pretty premium that have wood on the top that you're gonna have to maintain. I like this because I grew up wakeboarding, and this is like that really nice sea deck material that they put on the really expensive boats. On one side over here, we're gonna have our plug, which is gonna plug into the outlet, and everything is gonna go inside here. You have 3 access points to the inside where all of our components are gonna go. And we're gonna set this up here in a second, but I wanted to give you a little tour of the outside first. If you walk over here, there's also these child-proof latches to hold the lid down to keep kids and critters from outside your cold plunge. This lid is also insulated, so it's gonna help keep your water colder longer in all temperatures and environments. Because this tub is fully insulated, there's not gonna be any condensation on the outside. So if you wanted to have a cold plunge for inside your house, this might be a pretty good one to consider. Now let's go ahead and pop this lid off. There's a nice little handle here on one side. Take the lid off, it's super lightweight. We'll set it off to the side, and this is where all the goodies are. So this cold plunge does also come with a step, and the step is made of the exact same material with that nice EVA foam on top, making it easier to get into the cold plunge. Got a little brown box, which is gonna have some stuff in it for us. And then I believe this box, oh yeah, is the 1/2 horsepower chiller. So we're gonna set this off to the side. Before we set this up, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this tub, because this is a very large, deep tub, and we're gonna measure the entire thing. Holy smokes. So I'm completely under the rim of this cold plunge. So having the water in here, I mean, it'll be very easy to get fully submerged in this very easily. For reference, I'm 215 pounds, I'm heavier than normal, and I'm 6'1". You can sit in here a lot of different ways. Cross your legs and literally get fully underwater. And the cool thing is this backside, both of these sidewalls and even the wall in front of me are completely flat. There's no jets or anything sticking out. The jets are off to the left side, and the water's gonna shoot out right here at about knee, chest height in the water. And then there's a pre-filter that's gonna protect all of the components inside from getting any debris that might make their way in here. And that pre-filter is where the water is gonna go in. There's also a little gully here, so any dirt, any rocks, anything is gonna find its way down in there to make the cold plunge cleaner and more comfortable. Before we set everything up, I'm gonna go ahead and measure this thing. So let's go ahead and measure the entire thing. I did look at some information online, and it looks like the tub itself inside where you sit is slightly larger than the Renew tub, and this isn't a comparison against Renew. I just think that it kind of has similarities, and the price of this thing is only $54.99. Right now they have a sale where it's $49.99, and if you use discount code MAUS, that's M-A-U-S, they've allowed me to let you have a stackable discount. So on top of their sale, an extra $550 off. So you can buy this entire setup for $45-ish $100. It's pretty incredible. Let's make sure that it's something you should consider first, all right? So let's measure. So there's no exterior components at all, so we can literally do a full measurement here. We're looking at 33 inches, just inside 33 inches wide and just inside 66 inches long. To make it easier for you, 66 inches is 5 feet 6 inches. And that includes where the chiller is gonna go. That's incredible. And just for the people out there, I wanna go ahead and tell you, 33 inches is 2 feet 9 inches. That's not a big footprint. That's the entire outside. The height is right under 35 inches. So the inside, let's start with the width again. We're looking at, holy smokes, just under 25 inches, so a little over 2 feet wide. The length, 41 inches, so that's 3 feet 5 inches in length. And the depth, the thing's pretty deep. From the bottom all the way to the top, we're looking just under 29 inches. That is 2 feet 5 inches. That's one of the deeper cold plunges that I've seen. Thus why larger people like myself are gonna be able to fully submerge in this thing extremely easy. Did I mention this thing's only 170 pounds? It's a big box, but it's really, really lightweight. Now let's go ahead and set it up. I wanna get it fully set up. So we got this box here, our step. I'm just gonna move the step out of the way for now. And then this is our chiller. So it does come with a 1/2 horsepower chiller that can reach temperatures of 39 degrees. Holy smokes. So online it said they use a 20-inch filter. That's massive. That's a 20-inch filter for sure. That's gonna keep the water nice and clean. I love how light this thing is. A lot of the bigger premium cold plunges are super heavy, which is kind of expected. That's why I really didn't expect for this to be as light as it is. So this is very similar to just taking off your vent at your house. And now let's see what we got in here. Looks like we got the Danner 1200 pump in there. Everything's already in here. There's a timer. There's Ozone. These are things that aren't even listed online. I gotta talk to these guys. This thing's so much better than I thought. Cold Creek Tubs, you guys are building something really, really special. For the price, this thing is pretty incredible so far, and I haven't even set it up. But just in knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen, you're using a great pump. You've got shutoffs down here, so when you do need to change your filter, it's gonna prevent water from shooting through your lines and spilling everywhere. So this truly is a good cold plunge if you were to use this indoors. A lot of the cold plunges that say you can use them indoors, you can, but you're gonna get water on the floors. There's just no way around it. You're gonna end up getting some water on the floors. There is so many little shutoffs in here to prevent that from happening. This might actually be one of the best indoor cold plunges I've seen so far, but also one of the better outdoor cold plunges. I mean, the material they're using outside, this foam, this plastic, I keep calling it plastic. I know it's got some cool scientific name, so if you know what that is, pop it in the comments below. But it's all soft, it's all nice. It's meant to be outside, it's marine grade, it's durable. And because of the ventilation, the fact that your chiller and everything is inside, like this might be one of the better cold plunges in a really cold climate as well. It's pretty exciting. They have Ozone in here already pre-plumbed. You've got your power strip up here that's elevated so that there are some rainwaters or the water rises up or something like that. It's elevated about 2 feet off the ground. You've got a timer for your Ozone in here. You've got a spigot right here for draining this thing out, which comes after your pump. I mean, this thing is cool. So you can literally drain the water from the lowest point up here at the highest point. Great job. Like, this is actually really exciting. I hope a lot of people get to watch this video. So there's a shutoff right here at the very bottom point. So if you want to completely cut off the water, you can. They're using the Danner pump, which I love the Danner pump. That's gonna shoot up here through this insulated tubing, so there's not gonna be a lot of condensation in here, if any, and this is where your chiller is gonna go. It's gonna go in this big spot right here. The water's gonna go into your chiller, out of your chiller, and go through this line. If you do ever want to change your water, you can attach a hose here, divert that hose off into the grass, and drain your entire cold plunge using your pump, so it's gonna drain really fast. Then it goes through this 20-inch, 20 micron filter, and then from there it goes back, gets some Ozone injected into it, and shoots back into your cold plunge. Once again, there's another shutoff valve at the other side of your pump, so you can shut your water off there, you can shut your water off at the bottom, and that's gonna make changing your filter out here a lot easier, and obviously gonna keep a lot of that water out of the inside here. Up here is your electric strip, so that's where you're gonna plug everything in with your timer already connected to the Ozone, and then all of that goes down out of this one little hole at the bottom, and all you have to do is plug in this one plug into a regular 15 amp outlet. All the equipment in here is super efficient, and you're gonna have yourself a nice cold plunge. Let's go ahead and hook up our chiller. So you're gonna wanna take these caps off. Where the water comes out of the pump is where it's gonna go into the chiller. So pump straight into the in on the chiller, and then the out on the chiller, on the out. I love how easy this is, man. And I'm not throwing any shame or hate on any of the other cold plunge companies out there. I know I mentioned by name another cold plunge that this is probably gonna be a really good comparison to and save a ton of money. You know, I've been inside a lot of the expensive cold plunges, and the reason I haven't really published a review and I'm not really recommending them is because they're super expensive and they use the same stuff. Like the chiller and the pump and the Ozone and the filter, almost everybody uses the same-ish stuff, the exact same. If you look on the inside of all those expensive ones, they're probably using an Eco Plus chiller, and they're probably using an Active Aqua or Hialeah chiller like this. The pumps are all pretty much the same. The filters are all pretty much the same. What makes it different is obviously the price, how quickly you can get it, how easy you can move it and maintain it, and the look of it obviously too. And I think this kind of checks a lot of those boxes. All right, so we're done. That was it. I mean, now I gotta just connect the power and then connect the power and put in the pump and then fill it up with water. This is super simple. All right, so now we gotta put this massive filter on. Look at this thing. That's a 20-inch filter. This thing's huge. Like, that's massive. So you put the filter in there. There's, at the bottom inside there, there's like a little nub. You wanna make sure that your filter is pushed into that nub, and you wanna make sure that this black O-ring doesn't get lost. That's gonna seal this bad boy up. And actually, this little thing, you can slide on top there, and it helps to keep your filter center. That's something new I haven't seen before. And now we're just gonna slide this in here, get it lined up. All right, we're on there nice and tight. Now we just plug it in. So we're completely set up. We're about to fill it up with water. I just wanted to go over, this is my own little tip. So obviously you have about a 4-foot cord here. Yeah, about a 4-foot cord sticking out. You might not always have a wall plug with a dedicated circuit exactly where you need it. As long as you get an extension cord that can handle up to 15 amps. I use 12 amp extension cords, but as long as you have an extension cord that can handle that and you have it into a pretty much dedicated circuit. I say pretty much because these components don't pull a ton of power, but you wanna make sure that it's not tripping this or tripping anything else in your house. Definitely make sure that you use the right extension cord if you use one, and it's always encouraged to have it into a GFCI outlet. So that's my own little advice and tip. I'm not an electrician. This isn't medical advice, but we're gonna plug this in a second. But first we gotta put some water in it, because the second we plug this in, the pump is gonna start working, and you don't wanna run your pump dry. So don't even test it yet until you put some water in this thing. Another cool thing I just realized is you don't have to like have this one specific way. Both sides look the exact same. You have the same vent on both sides. You have the access point for everything over here on one side. So as long as you have access to one of these sides, you're pretty much fine. Obviously, you're gonna wanna have some room over here so you can get in to change your filter when that time comes, or change the timer when you wanna put your ozone on and all that stuff. But no matter where you have this thing, you know, some cold plunges, you only have like one side you can show off and the other side is where everything is. I mean, this thing is the exact same on this side as it is on the other side. So it's kind of got like a 360-degree setup where you could put it anywhere you want to put it. So now we're gonna fill it up, but I do have a tip. They didn't send a pre-filter for your hose. This is kind of what those will look like. I always recommend using one of these when you're filling these up, because your hose water is probably a little hard. If you live in Florida, it's probably not the greatest water. So just having a pre-filter is nice. And always let your pre-filter flow for about 10 seconds when you get it, before you actually put it into your tub. I have links down in the description of my videos that have cleaning kits. If you go to my Amazon kits, just look at the DIY cold plunge cleaning kit, and it'll have a lot of the options that I use in my cold plunges, and this being one of them. Let's go fill this thing up now. Another key before you fill it up is make sure you have it exactly where you want it, because it's about to get heavy. This thing holds 80 gallons of water. So we're about to make this thing pretty heavy. Filling it up. I'm full of tips today. Here's another really cool tip. You don't have to wait until the water is full to turn this thing on and make sure it works. So once the water is above that bottom hole, that's where the water goes in. So we're gonna make sure we got about an inch above that bottom hole. That's when I'm gonna kick this thing on. I'm gonna plug it in and make sure everything inside is working, because you wanna make sure everything's working and you don't have any problems before you fill this thing completely up, because then that's kind of a pain in the butt. If you have this entire thing full of 80 gallons of water and then you have a small issue, it's always easier to do it when you have minimal water. So, okay, so remember, the power strip inside is a power strip, and there is a button to turn it on. So make sure that it's on. Now we're gonna go plug this thing in and make sure it works before we fill it completely up. Here's the moment of truth. Here we go. Boom. Power is on. And there we go. Water's moving. Got to fill up that entire filter, and now we are running, man. No leaks inside. Open up the side. The chiller is on. Now let's set our chiller, and we'll start cooling our water down. If you have it set up the way I have it set up, which is having this opening with the chiller facing out, it's gonna make it a lot easier. Yes, I did say earlier you can have it any way you want it, and you can, as long as you have your chiller set up and you have access here. Because if you have access here to the front, you can do what I'm about to show you. But if you want to change your temperature a lot, you might want to have this side facing out. So this chiller can set down to 39 degrees, which is really cold. If you want this thing to generate ice, it's not going to be able to generate ice. 39 degrees is still a very, very cold plunge, and more than cold enough to get your body into cold thermogenesis and enjoy cold water therapy. But if 39 degrees is too cold for you, you can set this temperature all the way up to 65 degrees. So we're gonna press and hold the set button. You're gonna hear a beep, it's gonna start moving. You can set it up to 82 degrees. This is different. So we're gonna set this one to my wife's favorite temperature, 53 degrees. So when we're done with our workout, she can jump in here and feel really good about it. Then we're gonna hit set one more time, and now it's set. You're gonna hear the chiller kick on, which it just did. Super quiet. And the cool thing about having this all enclosed in this insulated tub with these vents is you're gonna have plenty of ventilation inside here, but it's also gonna muffle a lot of the humming noise that you could hear from the pump and from the chiller actually working. So now we've got everything on, we've got everything set. Let's close this thing up and let it do what it does. One more thing I'm gonna do before I close everything up is I'm gonna reach back in here and I'm gonna set my timer, which is also right here, super easy to get to. I'm gonna go ahead and set it so my Ozone turns on when I want it to turn on. You don't need Ozone to be on at all times. I'm just gonna have it run for like 3-4 hours till 3 a.m. So from midnight to 3 a.m. Ozone's gonna run, which is plenty of Ozone to keep my water nice and sanitary. All right, the final touch while we're filling this up is our step. I don't know where I wanna put this. I'll put it here. So we're done. Setup is totally done. That was for a Premium Cold Plunge. That was the easiest setup. Super simple setup. Literally put it where you want it, put your chiller in, connect those two connections to the chiller, plug it in, fill it up with water, and turn it on. Like that is as simple as it gets. If I was someone out there considering getting a cold plunge that's gonna pack a big punch, it's gonna last a long time, because that's one of the biggest things to me that I've learned after reviewing probably more cold plunges than anybody on the planet, is that some cold plunges are really nice, but they're not designed to last very long, or the components aren't designed to last very long, or it's very easy to damage the components that actually cool the water down in the first place. Having them enclosed is always good. It's not always necessary, depends on where you live, but just having this setup where everything is enclosed but still gets ventilation, that's epic. Having a large filter, that's epic. Having it all set up to where it's super simple and like anybody, a beginner in cold plunging, can use it and have a good experience, that's epic. Also having Ozone, epic. I would say Cold Creek Tubs, you guys did a great job. Now we're not done with this review because I do want to get in it and we're gonna do a full demo of actually using it. But I will say at this point, I'm pretty impressed, and it's definitely a cold plunge I would say I would recommend. But don't buy it yet. Let's wait, let me demo it, make sure the size inside and the function and the circulation inside is good, and then we'll make that decision. But I would say, and I don't normally do this a lot, but I would say, I just wanna help you save some money. I would say that if I was considering getting the Renew Cold Stoic, the components inside are almost identical. The build is very similar, but this is more than half the price, more than half the price, half but less. And obviously, if you use my discount code, it saves you a stackable $550. It's one of the biggest discounts any company has allowed me to offer my viewers. So if you're in the market for a cold plunge and your budget is around that $5,000 and you want something that's pretty premium, I would have to say this is probably gonna be a tough one to beat. Now it's still filling up, and before I demo it and get inside this thing, I do wanna recap just some of the highlights to me. Number one, it's not that expensive for what you get. For what you get, for how it comes, fully insulated and designed to last a long time, a normal price of $54.99, currently on sale for $49.99, minus $550 discount code MOSS, that's $4,500. But guess what? Free shipping, and it's not just free shipping, free next day shipping. Like, what? Because they're making it in California and they've been around for a long time. So if you look up, and I'd actually encourage you, if you're somewhat interested in this information, I would check out the link down in the description below that takes you to their website and learn a little bit about the founder's story. It's a family-ran, family-owned and operated business here in the States, and they're making them themselves. They're shipping them, free shipping next day. It's a really cool story, and getting to talk to the family about their product, I actually reached out to them. This is one of the few companies that didn't reach out to me and say, hey, can you review our product? I saw it and I was like, this is something that I need to see in person. So I reached out to them, I said, hey, I'd love to review your product. They knew me, and it was a cool story. Like, we had a really great conversation, but I'm actually really excited to showcase this product to you, and hopefully you can feel that in my passion, because I really do feel like this is a really good value, and also the company and the owners are really cool people. But enough of that, let me recap it. Other than the price, this thing doesn't take up a massive footprint, but you do get a pretty large cold tub itself. 80 gallons of water, so it's not a ton of water, but the way you sit in there is gonna fit a larger person and fill up very, very easily. That's gonna allow for that water to stay nice and cold, nice and clean, and a lot easier to maintain. They're using a 1/2 horsepower chiller, which is able to keep your water down at a set temperature of 39 degrees, and we just found out up to 82 degrees if your ambient water temperature can rise above that. It doesn't have a heater right now, so you definitely wanna be careful if you live somewhere where you're gonna get crazy winter freezes for long periods of time. Just like I mentioned in a lot of my other videos, if you have a chiller and it is outside and you're gonna lose power and the temperature is gonna be under freezing for a long period of time, you might want to decommission and move your chiller out of there so that the chiller doesn't get frozen. You don't want water to freeze inside the lines. That's like the one thing that everyone needs to really understand. It's light, it only weighs 170 pounds dry. It's extremely durable, meant to last a very long time. The setup was super easy. The use and maintenance is gonna be extremely easy because they have ozone, sanitization, and a 20-inch 20 micron filter. Plus the pre-filter inside is gonna keep your pump from getting damaged. The water's almost full, so it's almost demo time. All right, so if you see here, the water is about a hand's distance from the top. Another tip when you're filling up your cold plunge is give yourself a solid like 10 inches, just kind of visualize in your head when you get in this water, water's gonna rise because of water displacement, right? If you've watched a lot of my videos, you know lately I'm telling you it's bulking season, even though it's just the holidays and I like to eat. So here goes another pair of shorts today that I'm gonna get wet, but I'm doing it for you. All right, let's see how it feels. But you see how high the water's coming up already? I thought I gave myself plenty of room. So this is actually perfect. I'm actually super stoked on how I filled it up and the fit of this cold plunge. So as of right now, I'm in it to where I would normally get in when I'm cold plunging, have the water above my collarbone. I wanna activate and stimulate my vagus nerve by doing that. That's pretty much where you wanna be when you're cold plunging, is have the water above your shoulders and your collarbone. There's a lot of room in here. My butt is not on the ground. I am currently elevated. I've got my feet planted on the ground. It's very comfortable. There's a lot of room. My arms are able to get nice and wide. I like the black. These are things that I'm noticing as I get in it. You know, there's a lot of different colors in your cold plunge. I really like the black. It's nice and soft. It's got a little, just enough texture at the bottom where I can grip the bottom. I'm not gonna slip, which is nice. Having this jet off to my left is moving a lot of water around my back and it's coming out this side, so I can feel the water circulation in here, which is really, really cool. So this cold plunge is really meant for one person. I could see how like my son could get in here with me if he wanted to. If you have a kid that wants to cold plunge with you, they could get in here because there's a lot of room that's not being used. Like I said, my butt isn't even on the ground. And really a lot of people like to cold plunge with their shoulders and their arms out. So being completely real, if I wanted to get in here like this and sit on my knees, I got cold water up to my torso and there's room right here for my wife or my daughter or anyone else who would want to get in a cold plunge with me and kind of torture ourselves together. But if you're that next level person and you want to dunk, let's talk about how easy it could be to dunk. I'm going to cross my legs just because that just feels easier to control myself and keep myself underwater. And I'm going to dunk. That is one of the easiest cold plunges I've ever been in, to dunk and hold yourself underwater. Gosh, man, there's so much about this that I like, Ava. My daughter is out here. She's like, Dad, this one's pretty cool. I love this foam. It's kind of like the boat. You know, like it has that nice, soft, comfortable, it's that EVA marine grade foam. So it's comfortable, it's soft, but it's also grippy. It's just like you see on really high line, expensive boats. But what's cool about that too is like you have good grip when you're going to get out. It's nice and soft if you want to sit on it too. Like there's a whole side over here that's sturdy enough for us to get on and stand on, set stuff on, do some breathing exercises on. I really like this material. I'm surprised it's not used more in the cold plunging space. So this is really, really cool to see. What's cool too is like if you hurt your ankle and cheer, you could just sit right here and have your ankle in. You know how you have to always awkwardly like hold your foot in the cold plunge whenever you hurt your ankle or your knee? This is a lot easier. You can just sit here and ice your ankles or after a long run. There's also like a cool little space to sit, do some Wim Hof style breathing. It's cool. Or just stand up on. Super sturdy. Okay, Cold Creek Tubs, you guys have impressed me a lot, but it's really not that important that you impress me. It's important if you impressed you, the viewer. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this cold plunge. Once again, I don't ever say anything negative about other cold plunge companies unless it absolutely has to be said. Everybody's doing a good job. Everyone's working hard, trying to innovate. It's really nice to see something you've never seen before. This is a unique, new cold plunge that I don't see a lot of people trying to recreate. And for the price, it's gonna probably become a top recommendation of mine. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, pop them down in the comments below. I'd love to read every single comment. Let me know your thoughts on this cold plunge, on the style, on the price point, on the materials being used, and your opinion. And then if you want any more information, make sure that you check out the link down in the description below. If you do decide to purchase it, discount code MOSS will save you an exclusive $550, which is stackable on top of any sale that they have going on. That's exclusive from my channel to you. Thank you, Cold Tubs, for allowing me to offer that. If you want to be my friend on Instagram, that'd be really cool too. I post a lot of daily content, a lot of stuff that's kind of fun, and I love to engage with my friends there. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video, my friends. Have a great day, and God bless. But hey, before you go, I think you should check out this video or this video. Either one of these videos are gonna be really, really cool. So just click on one of those before the screen ends, because then you'll never see these again. So click one of them. See you guys next time.